different now. I see the gospel as militant, I see the mission now. Find righteous from the 12 tribes, vet them, that's my inner circle. We got bylaws like every 6 days you best be making curfew. See, we want goons that'll cut you if you touch us. Ain't no rabbis, ain't no masters. We got OGs and we got brothers, but our weapons, they ain't carnal. We are sheep amongst wolves. The warrior in my voice is a shadow of things to come. So days without eating to beat and strengthen that inner man. We don't under, we don't over, man, we understand. Yeah, that's the spirit, man. When we speaking, you hear it, man. Light work, darkness can't comprehend, so they hate cause they fear it, man. See, they the children of the ones who killed the prophets, so we count it all for joy, cause it's a sign that we will profit. At the end, when the Son of Man comes again, I pray I'm found worthy and working and part of his battle plans. I got 12 tribes behind me. 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 12, 12, 12. I got 12 tribes behind me. 12, 12. I got 12 tribes behind me. I'm seeking able men, such that fear I hire, that walk in truth and hate a hater, cause they fear I hire. I told y'all niggas years ago, I'm waking goons up. Can these dry bones live? We waking tombs up. I'm with the Bible gang, we throwing sets up. Real Judah, straight shooters, you get wet up. Your choice, baptism or the Nina. With one voice we give that living Aquafina. I know Judas, that was brothers, they was hating on the low. Know my final destination, and can't everybody go. How you got the game on like it's something like a figure four. Cross me, hello, they know, like Shiloh. He kicked the tribe out, call him the tribe of Dan, and got some replacement killers, Manasseh and Ephraim. Don't get that bruise slap, I be speaking bruise facts. I swing with the scripture, but I can hit you, leave you blue black. Playing both sides, bisexual Hebrews. You can't eat with devils and come and eat with me too. I got 12 tribes behind me. 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 12, 12. I got 12 tribes behind me. 12, 12. I got 12 tribes behind me.
Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. We are your humble servants and hosts for tonight. I am Kayel. Solo Dolo in the building. It's Monday night. Red beans and rice. What is a Hebrew? That's right. Y'all know in New Orleans, Mondays is reserved for red beans and rice. It's a staple in our community. It's something we do every Monday as a tradition, as a thing our community does to as a culture. Red beans and rice. Something simple as that. You can track that one little line of red beans and rice, and you will see a whole cultural lineage and history connected to Monday's red beans and rice. I mean, if we could do it for red beans and rice, you think that we will be able to find out who we are as a people, that we will be able to just as easy as say, wait, red beans and rice is done on Monday in New Orleans as a tradition. Let me see if I can go into Google, Wikipedia, Bing, whatever, and see the history of that. Well, our history has been taken over. So that's why we have to have this Monday night. What is a Hebrew? We actually have to consistently on a Monday night explain what a Hebrew is. I see y'all coming in on Black Mask and Nola, man. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. The question on the table is, what is a Hebrew? And what is this social engineering? What is geoengineering? What is geoengineering? And what is the Most High's engineering? That's the lesson for tonight. That's what we're going to dive into tonight, because social engineering has been around you since you've been born. When your mother was born, social engineering was involved. When your grandmother was involved, your grandfather was alive, social engineering. When your great grandfather was around, social engineering. Social engineering has been around so long that you don't even know what it is. You don't recognize what it is as it happens to you every day, from Instagram to social media, Twitch, YouTube, all of the above. Is all part of social engineering. And social engineering, just in a short definition, means false information. Social engineering equals false information. Lies, lies, and lies. I see you in the building, LaShawn. I see your Dia's in the building, Esther's in the building, Adon's in the building. It all amounts to lies. GeoEngineering. What is GeoEngineering? Well, that's organic engineering. That's genetically modified. They can't decipher the program until they realize they are programmed. That's right, c'est la vie. People cannot decipher the program until you realize you've been programmed. Thank you, c'est la vie. So when we look at this geoengineering, we're looking at engineering from an organic standpoint. We're talking about geo as in genetically modified organisms. That they are engineering the earth, the nature. That's what geoengineering stands for. So geoengineering versus the Most High. So you have the mental engineering of social engineering going along with the biological engineering, which is geoengineering. And we say we put those two up against the Most High tonight and his engineering. Because if you didn't know it, without the Most High's engineering, there would be no geoengineering. There would be nothing to decompose. See, all of science and all of engineering, math, and all of that is our way, is man's way of deconstructing what the Most High has created. The entire earth, the sun, the moon, the way we breathe, the organisms in the sea, the organisms on the land, the difference between mammal and animal, all of these things are what the Most High created. So he engineered it in the beginning. And all man is doing is trying to play catch up. We don't know anything. All we can do is get it, dissect it, study it, put it through tests, confirm is this or confirm is that, and then say, well, from our limited understanding, from our what the test results have shown us, we would have to deduce. Not that they know, but they will go by the information that they've gotten. Information. Well, then, Kyle, if you're saying information is part of social engineering, and they got all their information from deconstructing what the Most High has done, then if they put out opposite information or misleading information, then they would be lying. They would be doing the opposite of what the Most High has stated for us to know, which is truth. Then they have now taken their ability to understand what the Most High has done on a more scientific or intricate or more of a being able to reproduce it level. Right? They're on that level of being able to reproduce what the Most High has naturally produced. So they then turn to you and tell you that it means A when it really means B, and it's got a little bit of A in it. You understand what I'm saying? It's social engineering, because they really want you to select C. So they give you B with a little bit of A in it, and say we're trying to strive to see. That's social engineering. When they take something that is truthful and they change it, present it to you as a challenge or as a breakthrough on their way to solving whatever the issue is or creating whatever they're trying to create, i.e., the man on the moon, or i.e., a vaccine for a disease. Get it? Social engineering. I don't do a good job of explaining it. I've got a video tonight for you guys to explain social engineering from a way that you cannot misunderstand what has been done to your great grandfathers, your great grandmothers, and how that has created a thought process with us that is directly against the scripture. So let's get into it. Dane Calloway did an outstanding job of explaining social engineering. I posted this because I was supposed to play it at the end of Shabbat, which I forgot, right? So we are now going to play it for you guys.
To watch my exclusive content, not featured anywhere on YouTube, log on to my website at imjustheretomakeyouthink.com/films.
For educational purpose, and please go to that brother's website. I'm just here to make it think.
What if America is witnessing the largest crime conducted against humanity in a way they never thought of before? What if films were produced to inform the masses of these crimes by way of visual hidden messages? What if America derived from the likes of conceptualism and organized written deceptions? What if you were told that something can control what you see, other than your own brain? How would you answer these questions? Tracking it down to the configurations of the answers, it would depend on how an individual receives information socially. Like, for example, there may be a few of you who may feel as though your history teacher gave you the correct answer. Or it may be a few of you who feels as though some community leader gave you the best answer. Or there may be a small group who feel as though just because someone mentions it to them and it sounded about right, then it's a fact, meaning that you're just simply approving his or her message. But the funny thing about approving someone's message, it's merely based upon how much you value that individual's opinion. I mean, think about it. Since history was written by strangers with malicious motives and biased agendas in the first place, what makes a person buy into a stranger's opinion about their own people's story? This process is uncommonly known as a social engineering experiment, or C for short, which is a scientific study conducted on groups of large populations, manipulating direct and indirect thought of human behavior, subsequently found within the origins of social science. Social science is the study of people or collections of people, such as groups, firms, societies, or economies, and their individual or collective behaviors. To have a better understanding of this intel, there are 3 disciplinary classifications of social science. To break it down, psychology is one of those 3, which is the study of human behavior. And up next is sociology, which is the study of social groups. And then the remaining one is economics, which is the study of firms, markets, and economies. This means that social engineering experiments are conducted upon people unwantedly or with their acknowledgement. And these forms of experiments are based on the principles of submissive mind configuring or manipulation. And here's what I mean by that. Now, if you were to Google the history of the phrase social engineering, it is generally associated with
Here's a simple passive income business that allows you to be free. You probably don't know about it, but let me tell you what you do know about. Billboards. Take a guess how much passive income a billboard like this one generates each month. $3,000 a month? $4,000 a month? Before you give an answer, I want you to think about something. Old school businesses like this one over here typically cost $50,000 to $100,000 a month just to set up. Not to mention taxes, maintenance costs. Physical businesses are a headache. But you know what's better? Online billboards like this one. These generate from $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000 a month of pure profit. It's semi-passive income without the setup cost, without the maintenance cost, without the headache or any previous experience. Let me show you something. In fact, Chance, why don't you show them something?
These online billboards are the same ads you see on Facebook, Instagram, and Google, and local businesses will pay you to set them up. No wonder The Economist shared this chart. The demand for online ads is growing faster than ever. I'm sure you've noticed more and more people are spending their time online. You right now are watching this online ad. This is exactly why this market is expected to grow over 50 billion this year. Now take a look at one of our students. He followed our method to run this ad for a pool installation company. He ran ads just like this one, and this business owner landed $360,000 worth of new pool installations. Our student made a cool $36K off that one single deal. Now check it out. Here's my Stripe account where I process my clients' payments each and every month. I have one client that's paid me $8,250 monthly. I have another client here that pays me $750 a month. Another client here, $9,500 a month. And then I got my big client down here at the bottom that pays me $26,000 a month after month. I've also been featured on Forbes, Entrepreneur, and we've spoken in front of hundreds of people all over the country. Many of our students are doing the same thing with dentists, lawyers, gym owners, and so many different business owners. Anyone can follow a simple two-step method to set up these online billboard ads.
The time to start is now because all the major corporations haven't figured this out yet. You can quickly create as many billboards as you want for practically any business, and they will pay you thousands of dollars per month passively without you having to invest thousands of dollars on inventory-based businesses like drop shipping and Amazon. You know those products are never going to sell anyways. With this passive online business model, you can get massive return
associated with hackers in the technology field, utilizing unfiltered techniques in order to hack into computer systems and high-end security walls, for example. But is that social engineering? Well, from a certain perspective, it is, simply because technology is very utilitarian for propagating all the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of society and human behaviors. Interesting enough, the Oxford English Language Dictionary defines social engineering as the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society. And it goes on to state that social engineering is the use of deception in order to induce a person to divulge private information, or especially unwittingly to provide unauthorized access to a computer system or network. So these social engineering experiments are continuously occurring over time, and humans do play a major role on both sides of these test results. which can be confusing to some of you because you may associate the phrase social engineering with things like the famous hacker, Kevin Mitnick, for example, who was said to have popularized the phrase during the 1990s. Or you may associate the phrase with things like the movie called Hackers, starring Angelina Jolie and Johnny Lee Miller. And the reason being is due to the visual image surrounding this phrase alone, which has been displayed as a malicious means to gain access to private, personal, or confidential information only. But unfortunately, that is not the case here. According to the website CSOonline.com, which is a website created for chief information security officers and other top-level executives charged with protecting their organization's tangible and intangible assets, including technology infrastructure, intellectual capital, and corporate reputation. In an article dated September 25, 2019, it states, quote, "Social engineering is the art of exploiting human psychology rather than technical hacking techniques to gain access to buildings, systems, or data." Exposing that the main objective of these social engineering experiments is to alter the human psyche to influentially manipulate a human's behavior. According to the Oxford English Language Dictionary, the phrase social engineering was initially recorded in a New York Times article published on October 15, 1899, titled "New Profession Appears. Promoters of Social Engineering Find a Fruitful Field." This article, published in 1899, details that social engineering is the latest of the professions as applied by the officers and the members of the League for Social Service, which was organized in August of 1898 by Dr. Josiah Strong and W.H. Tolman. Tolman is quoted in this article saying, "Dr. Strong and myself started the League in August last year. Our object was the social and industrial betterment of the people. There is much that can be embraced under that heading. We are really social engineers, and that is the youngest of the professions. Now, as to our work, we go from place to place and see what employers are doing for the betterment of their help. The members of the League are our clients, and we improve their property on social lines. The League is practically a clearinghouse for other institutions." Further into this article, Tolman goes on and states, quote, "We intend to take up another matter, and that is to act as an emergency corps in the case of a great disaster or any calamity in which immediate relief is necessary. We have the machinery, and thus it is a matter of economy to employ us. We have engaged to write for us a series of leaflets. Governor Theodore Roosevelt, who becomes President of the United States, Dr. Albert Shaw, editor, journalist, scholar, Robert C. Ogden, businessman and financial supporter of Booker T. Washington, and Dr. W.P. Wilson, textbook author of Christian psychotherapy, and many others."
Okay, I have to stop here for a second because I want to bring your attention to some things that were said. This social engineering group that started in 1890 and then put out a want ad in 1898 in order to bring in more people stated that their process was social engineering, which Dane Calloway laid out what social engineering meant, that they were not engineering in the sense of building things, but in the psychology of people and communities and nations. Now, these particular people took their organization and they said that this was the youngest of the organizations. So meaning that 1890, 1898, that this social engineering that they put out an article for, they had already had other programs that were running, i.e. Jim Crow, right? The Jim Crow laws. This is part of social engineering. And it worked in two forms. One, it was to social engineer the blacks to believe that there was no way that they could get justice, and it was better for them to run and be quiet as opposed to bring their matters to a judicial system. The second way it worked, it allowed the poorer Europeans, the poor whites, to feel as though that they were above a class, that even though they were not making any money, even though they were being downtrodden by the corporations, they still were better than black people because the laws were on their side and the laws were not on the side of black people. Now, this particular organization, after having these different auxiliary organizations, and this being the youngest of that organization, of different social engineering concepts and laws and statutes that were put in place in the United States, this group evolved and it became an emergency response, as it says here, in the case of great disaster or any calamity in which immediate relief is necessary. We have the machinery, and thus it is a matter of economy to employ us. So this group that went from social engineering now wants to step in and physically be an assistance for any disaster that happens because they have the machinery from where we don't know, right? Obviously from the government, as Governor Theodore Roosevelt, who became the president, was part of this think tank. And Albert Shaw, or Robert Ogden, was the one that paid for Carver, was the one that funded Black Studies, and the Dr. W.P. Wilson was the one that funded Christian Studies. So these social engineering people took their plan to move the entire society like sheep, not just black people, not just downtrodden, rich, all of the above that are not aware of the plan of social engineering, that these people are putting their ideology into these different areas or fields of academia. From government with Theodore Roosevelt, who becomes president, to Ogden, who is over Carver, who is the one in our time was the great thinker of Black studies, and the Christian, the poor whites, or the downtrodden of the Americas at that time. So now they have put their ideology and their system in all of these different avenues of higher learning and of government policies. And then they evolved into a disaster relief group. Let's go.
Others of note, end quote. Now, years later, the League for Social Service changed its name to the American Institute of Social Service, and in an article written for the New York Times, dated May 30th, 1906, entitled, "What is the American Institute of Social Service? Practical Work and Scope of the Organization Conducted by Dr. Josiah Strong and Dr. W.H. Tolman explained. The Institute is described as a storehouse of experience, a sociological laboratory, and a sociological clinic, which diagnoses conditions and prescribes remedies, saying that, quote, all sorts of conditions of men, women, and children use the Institute. Sociologists, ministers of the gospel, and those who have put dogmatics behind them, all of these go to the Institute for information almost about everything under the sun. Ministers want to know how they best cooperate with one another for civic betterment. Many times, the Institute is asked to tell them how to attract and hold young men. College professors want literature for use in the preparation of lectures. Students get up their graduating essays. Writers of books and magazine articles want the last word upon whatever subject they are writing. End quote. Social engineering molds the minds of those it intends to influence. using one-directional indoctrinating information established by the desires of the social engineers themselves, along with their affiliated organizations and institutions. This skillful art of arrangements is used experimentally in both the ever-growing field of technology and or person-to-person contact. And just as they were in the past, many of these experiments are documented under different auspices and cloaked in the clouds of secrecy, still to this very day. Some examples of social engineering experiments are things like Americans following signs to tell them what to do, while in other countries of other continents, those people do exactly what they want to do, without consenting to foreign direction or instruction. Another example will be children television shows, in which the fictional characters of these episodes would purposely display destructive behavior on television, even if it is classified as kid-friendly, all to manipulate the mindsets of the children watching these shows in real time. Another example would be the
I'm on it this time, guys. Get this
So let's say you have to read an incredibly long email from your boss that you have to finish before the big meeting starts in 10 minutes. Or you're cramming for an exam the night before, but
would be the initial campaign to promote the use of cigarette smoking by way of persuasive commercials broadcasted over millions of television sets at homes and places of business, and even newspaper ads inside various publications. Even CEOs are on television influencing pregnant women to smoke cigarettes as a benefit.
Embryos don't have much choice. Fetuses don't. They don't like to smoke. The British Medical Research Council did a study of all of the 17,000 babies born in a single week in the United Kingdom, as you doubtless know. The council found that those babies born to mothers who smoked during pregnancy were in significantly higher proportion small, weighing under 5.5 pounds approximately, than the babies born to mothers who did not smoke, and there was a higher rate of stillbirths and of deaths within 28 days of birth. The question is, in view of this study, which is the largest and the most elaborate of its kind ever made, is it right to promote smoking among women with Virginia Slims and the other brands, especially marketed for them, with no warning as to the danger to the embryo that may exist? Well, you're reading that question.
All right, I'm stopping here because the sound may be bad. There's a clip in here. The gentleman saying that in 1970, that the United Kingdom, the UK, did a research or did an experiment with, I believe, 1,700 women, and the group of women that smoked, their babies, they're pregnant, because these are all women that were pregnant that were smoking, to find out the effects or birth defects that would occur in children. They found that the women that smoked during pregnancy, their children came out about 5 pounds, malnutritious, and with a slew of issues. And the man he's asking the question to this guy, Joseph Coleman, how can you, knowing that has been the most extensive test that has been done, that is a worldwide accepted results, how can you still advertise healthy cigarettes to Virginia Slims and to women via Virginia Slims to women and other people? This is the part of social engineering. I stopped it because I want you to hear his answer. He gave an answer. The other guy did not push him. That's let you know that they're both on a fix, and that no matter what in social engineering, when everybody comes and say, "Oh, I can't believe this is happening. No, they won't let this happen. The Congress won't let this happen. Senate won't let this happen. Oh no, this country won't do that." And I'm telling you that this country will do that. That when we say that in our communities, that we believe in our government to protect us, that our government is going to say, wait, that's just too much. We're gonna hold it right there. Listen to what the answer that they will accept when they do the dog and pony show for the citizens and say, oh yeah, we brought them to the Senate, we brought them to the floor and questioned them. Well, this is the answer, and what do you do after the answer?
Senator, it's a complicated question. I would say that I did read that report, and I concluded from that report that it's true. The babies born from women who smoke are smaller, but they're just as healthy as the babies born from women who do not smoke.
What about the higher?
So, this man's answer is, yeah, I give you that. The babies are smaller, but they're healthy though. So how does that work? Something that is supposed to be 8 pounds, 9 pounds is now 5 pounds, but you say it's healthy. Because at the time of the report, they cannot say, and the Senate cannot say, that these children were guaranteed to grow up wanting to be a smoker, grow up with asthma, emphysema, or respiratory problems. What else?
Some women would prefer having smaller babies.
What about the higher rate of deaths?
I don't.
That some women prefer having smaller babies. I mean, come on, bro. Yuan, you hear this, my brother Yuan? The man's answer is that they're smaller when they're supposed to be bigger, but they're still healthy, and that some women prefer the smaller baby. They prefer the boutique baby. They don't want a full healthy baby. They like a little small baby they can put in a little bag like a little dog. But they accepted this because our news and they still push cigarettes. They still push like it's possibly healthy. I see you in the building, Ty.
I'm not familiar with that.
And almost everyone can recall the monkey see, monkey do method, where people gradually consent to being socially influenced or operated by the common theme of foreign control, no matter what the task may be. And this is still an ongoing issue as of now. So many examples that I have alluded to in my previous documentaries details just how deep this rabbit hole goes. And as you begin to research what I've researched, you will then know for sure that it's not based on some opinionated theories, commonly used by those with the intent to distract you from the truth. And so now we can determine the common pattern utilized inside of these.
I hope y'all saw that. I mean, the brother was talking, and you're right, Aaron. It's the same thing as saying that she's got a beautiful figure because crack slims her down. She doesn't have much of an appetite on crack. But in this experiment that they were showing you here, the gentleman was on the elevator looking in the right direction. But everybody got on the elevator, looked at the wall. And he decided that I must be doing it wrong, even though nobody told him he was wrong. Even though he wasn't really wrong, he decided so that he wouldn't look like an outsore or a sore thumb, he decided to turn around and look at the back of the elevator with everyone else. That's called the bandwagon in advertisement and marketing. That's called the bandwagon technique. It's when they advertise to you that all of your friends are doing it, so you should come on and do it as well. When you look at commercials now, look at it from that. Anytime you have a commercial where all the people are running together and they got the whole commercial in motion and everybody's moving and they got a girl at the end comes back and say, come on, you want to do this. That's the bandwagon effect. That's the marketing tool that they have labeled the bandwagon effect or process. So that's part of social engineering. Marketing, when you go to school and the universities for marketing, they are teaching you social engineering. Understand that social engineering is so interwoven in our communities. we are so socially engineered that we are actually going to school to get a degree in helping the process of social engineering our own people.
Social engineering experiments, and it all traces back to the art of illusory, and whoever the engineer can mold and modify into compulsory participation. But keep in mind that it can only work if persons decided to participate, meaning that there is a solution to this common problem, and we do not have to wait another however many more years you want to add on to fix it. Another example of these experiments is what you see people are doing commonly based on some form of risk of a pandemic that somehow managed to Optimus Prime itself and transform into an outbreak, while simultaneously other things are happening that people manage to forget, as if evidence of the effects of more added frequencies to the atmosphere somehow does not pose as a threat to electrical beings in any place of the world. And somehow people tend to forget how other examples of these experiments are things that you would not consider as being the study of. And this is where it gets a lot deeper. Now, some of you may consider what I'm about to share with you the introduction to something that you may have no idea about. Some may say they have seen it before, but haven't thought about it really. And some may altogether believe that it's just some viral phase that'll fade away in a matter of time. However, this type of technology has been around for quite some time now, to the point where it can be shocking to say the very least.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, "This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. Thank you. Stay woke, bitches. Stay woke, bitches. Stay woke, bitches."
Growing alarm over the use of altered videos online, especially those known as deep fakes, which are highly realistic looking and inaccurate. There are concerns about their growing sophistication and the risks they pose to national security. It is the focus of a hearing tomorrow in the House Intelligence Committee. Miles O'Brien has a look at how those videos, once the source of some fun, are being manipulated and how artificial intelligence scientists are trying to respond.
Scary as deepfake videos may be, there are times when they can be fun. A place where a 3D model of my face gets electronically plastered onto computer scientist Hao Lee's head, making him the puppet master and me the dummy.
Really a scary looking individual overall. What do you think? I do need to change my hair, don't I? Yeah.
Lee is an associate professor at the University of Southern California and co-founder of PinScreen, an app that allows consumers to make instant custom 3D avatars for virtual reality gaming and shopping.
So now you created your avatar, right? So you have your...
Nice trim, Miles O'Brien. The real-time puppet master trick is how he refines the technology.
And here I am as our president. Yep. Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister of Japan. Zhang, leader of China. Trudeau. It's not a bad look for me. Me as Justin Bieber. What do you think? I think I'm going to do this on the NewsHour all the time now. This will be good for my career, don't you think?
Lee says he never saw it as anything more than entertainment.
Of course, it can be used for something really bad, but the main purpose was never for that. It was used for entertainment, a fun tool that could give us more things to do for fashion, lifestyle, etc.
Deepfake videos cleverly combine what's real with what is synthesized by a computer to make people appear to say things they never did or never would.
I like vodka.
The ever-increasing speed of computers, along with the advancement of the artificial intelligence technique called machine learning, is making these composites harder and harder to detect with the naked eye.
we all assume that there will be a point where there's no way to tell the difference. I mean, for visual effects, I think you can get pretty close already. It's just the question of how much effort you put into it. But in terms of content that can be created by anyone, I think it's getting very close to the point.
This was very truly surprising for me.
One technique is the face swap, which puts Steve Buscemi's face on Jennifer Lawrence's body, Nicolas Cage onto a series of marquee stars in iconic roles.
Terrific.
Or Jimmy Kimmel's mug on mine.
So I've had to relearn very simple things.
But there is a deep, dark side as well. Indeed, the technology has been used to paste the faces of celebrities onto the bodies of...
Take a look at this. This is a regular landlord. He has to fix toilets, chase people down for rent, evict old cat ladies. No wonder he's cranky.
Computer scientist Hani Farid is a professor at Dartmouth College.
I am worried about the weaponization, and I'm worried about how it's impacting us as a society. So we are working as hard as possible to detect these things.
Killmonger was right.
This video crystallized much of the deep concern. What seems to be President Barack Obama making a speech...
You see, I would never say these things.
...is actually comedian and filmmaker Jordan Peele doing his excellent Obama impersonation synced with software created with artificial intelligence, or AI.
The AI system synthesized the mouth of President Obama to be consistent with the audio stream, and it made it look like President Obama was saying things that he never said. That's called a lip sync deepfake.
Just this week, the technique was used to put some pretty outrageous and comical words into the mouth of Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg.
Spectre showed me that whoever controls the data controls the future.
It's a potent technology that is ripening at a time of deep polarization and suspicion fueled by social media.
So it's really sad. Here's the thing.
Just last month, something much less sophisticated than a deep fake, a doctored video of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi making her seem drunk, went viral.
We want to give this president the opportunity to do something historic.
Deep fakes ratchet up the risks.
The nightmare situation is that there's a video of President Trump saying, "I've launched nuclear weapons against North Korea," and somebody hacks his Twitter account, and that goes viral, and in 30 seconds we have global nuclear meltdown. Do I think it's likely? No. But it's not a zero probability, and that should scare the bejesus out of you, right? Because the fact that that is not impossible is really worrisome.
Computer scientists have pushed this technology using generative adversarial networks, or GANs. A GAN pits two artificial intelligence algorithms against each other. One strives to create realistic fake images, while the other grades the effort.
So the synthesis engine says, I'm going to create a fake image. I give it to this AI system that says, this looks fake to me. So it goes back and you change it, and you do that a few billion times in rapid succession. And the computers are teaching each other how to make better fakes. And that's what has democratized access.
And that's why the Pentagon is interested in deep fakes. Its research enterprise, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, is exploring ways to defend against the threat of deepfakes. Computer scientist Matt Turek runs DARPA's Media Forensics, or Metaphor, project.
So there's an opportunity here for us to essentially lose all trust in images and video.
Turek showed me some of the 70 counter-deepfake techniques DARPA is helping nurture.
It's necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another.
This software is designed to characterize lip movement and compare it to the audio.
And so when we see these red bars, that means actually that the sounds of the speaker are not actually consistent with the movement of the lips.
Take a look at this video. Supposedly two people sitting together. But software that determines the lighting angle on faces concludes it is a composite.
So it estimates a 3D model for the face. Along with that 3D model, it estimates the reflectance properties of the face and also the lighting angles. And so here we're primarily using the lighting angles to see whether those are consistent or not.
In this example, video apparently gathered by a security camera shows only one car. This artificial intelligence algorithm is designed to predict how things should move.
What that's triggering off of is discontinuities in the motion. And so that gives us a signal to look at an image or video and say, well, perhaps frames were removed.
And it flags the video as altered. Another vehicle was edited out.
There's a cat and mouse game. The more aspects that you can use to debunk an image or video, the more burden that you put on the manipulator.
But none of these ideas will work without the cooperation of the big social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook, which would need to deploy the software and delete the fakes, something Facebook refused to do when the Pelosi video emerged.
The platforms have been, for the most part, very cavalier about how they deal with this type of illegal content, harmful content, misinformation, fake news, election tampering, non-consensual pornography, and the list goes on, because it gets eyes on the platform, and that's good for business.
A fake video, amplified in an echo chamber, can go an awfully long way before the facts even enter the picture. And enter the picture. Enter the picture.
Commercial coming, guys.
Wow, look at this. 94% of people believe company culture is important to an organization's success. Frankly, I have no idea what the other 6.
I'm just here to make you think.
Excuse me, guys. One little. So, as we're looking at this social engineering, and want to thank the brother Dan Calloway for putting together a really great video to explain what social engineering is and how it's playing out in our communities right now, right? How it's playing out in our communities right now. We and not just in our communities, inside the world, and how it has now ramped up with the technology. The more we get into technology, what they did is social engineering through FEMA, because you got to remember, the video explained that these social engineering people have evolved to be there for all emergency response needs. That these people are the FEMA, they're part of FEMA. They're part of, how can I say this, man? FEMA are the Federal Emergency Corps, were in control in the end of Trump's presidency. Anytime that we sign over executive order, or we do an executive order that is stating that we're in a state of emergency, anytime your United States government makes a state of emergency, FEMA takes over. If it's in New Orleans for Katrina, they take over. If it's in Houston, if it's in Boston, if it's in California for the fires, it is the people that respond. And when the president says it's a national thing, such as COVID-19, we are in a nation or a state of emergency, the thought process and the ideologies go along with what the social engineering has been putting forth all the time. I'm going to let you put the math together for that. I don't think I need to explain how detrimental that is for a company that has been putting out bad information about a community and miseducating a community is now the ones that are supposed to come in and save that community. That's a conflict of interest. We say that Democrat or Republican, we're saying that all government, all aspects of it, all religions, all higher education, all of it has been infiltrated by the social engineering. And if you haven't counted, that will cover all parts of our society. Education, government, religion, and social is in the name of engineering. So obviously it's in the fun of the news or the social media or the anything that you are being social in. Engineering has been a part of that. I really want you guys to understand and take that in. So when we say here on Hebrew State of Being that this world is a lie, that is profaned, that when Enoch speaks about everything being out of its foundations, it was put out of its foundation presently, or is continuing to be helped to stay out of it, right? Presently by the social engineering. We're going to go into our book of Enoch, and we're going to, as we're going through the book, the entire book of Enoch, understanding that the book of Enoch was written before Deuteronomy and the Torah, that the book of Enoch was around before the Torah. It was around before Moses. It was around before Noah. So the book of Enoch is the original book that our ancestors passed on from generation to generation without the hijacks, without the social engineering. Now, because we have been socially engineered, when we read from the book of Enoch, we think it's impossible. Because social engineering tells us that the Caucasians, the Europeans, were the only ones to be able to go to the moon, and that there are no heavens up there, but there are nothing but planets and dimensions. That aliens are going to be coming down here, and that they are the original creators of the world, or at least of the great civilizations, and that these aliens gave man all of his knowledge. Well, that's the social engineering part. The social engineering tells you it's a planet. The social engineering tells you it's aliens. The book of Enoch tells you it's fallen angels. The book of Enoch tells you that there are heavens above us. Get the social engineering opposed to the Most High's engineering. So in chapter 74, the Most High is explaining, well, Enoch is explaining to Methuselah, his son, what the Most High had told him when he was up in the heavens and saw the luminaries of the sun and the moon, which on Shabbat we expressed, and well, the lesson showed that the sun and the moon and the stars is the covenant that the Most High has with us as his people. Where on your screen you're going to see the picture of the 144. 144 is a topic in scripture readings and biblical communities, right? And in debate, right? Of this 144, that you've heard about the story of the rapture, that the Most High is going to take up some and leave some behind, and part of those that's going to be taken up in the sky, that's going to be given a new flesh, is the 144. We're going to dive into that tonight as well with Enoch. But right now, we're starting with the luminary, so we can end off that as we read 73. We read up to 73 on our last readings of Enoch. So not on Shabbat, but on last cultural appropriation. So we're starting with chapter 74 tonight. And let's get y'all to these scriptures because we are the 144. And what I want you to notice about this picture and what I want you to understand as we're reading Enoch, that everything in the heavens gives praise to the Most High constantly. Everything in the heavens, to call themselves in order, they are giving praise unto the Most High. That is how you are in order in the heavens. And it tells us in Revelations that when the Most High comes down and he destroys this earth, that we will be saying, holy, 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 which is the way to give praise unto the Most High, to acknowledge that he is holy and that he is perfect. So that's what the moon and the sun and the stars do by going in their rotations and not skipping their rotations. They are giving homage and giving praise unto the Creator. Here, when we talk about the angels, the seraphim and the cherubim that are in the heavens, all they do, the host of the heavens, the armies of the heavens, all they do is give praise unto the Most High 24/7 continually. Keep that in mind as we go into our scripture. One second, guys. I had y'all set up. All right. We're going into S73. And we're going to 74. All right, so I just want to make sure I got you guys on the page. Y'all know how tricky this Enoch is with the internet because they got so many versions. But here we go. Enoch chapter 74, and it says, "Then I saw another progress and regulation which he effected in the law of the moon, the progress of the moons, and everything Uriel showed me, the holy angel who conducted them all." Now, if you remember in our Wednesday night lesson, when we went through these, the moons and the chambers of the sun, and then in 73, chapter 73 of Enoch, it explained how the sun gave light to the moon and how these two luminaries worked in conjunction to keep the covenant, and that these both were the same size and that they had to work in tandem. And now in 74, it is saying that the regulations of the moon, that it affected other things. The progress of the moon, it affected other things, which the Uriel showed him, the holy angel. So then verse 2, it says, "Their stations I wrote down as he showed them unto me. I wrote down their months as they occur, and the appearances of their light until it is completed in 15 days. So understand that what is done with the light between the sun and the moon is done in 15 days. All right. In each of its 7 portions, it completes all of its light and rising and setting. So it says all of the rotation of the sun and the moon within 30 days is 15 days. Their order is done in 15 days. That's going to break down. You guys are going to see. I just want to keep y'all with me, okay? Because when we talk about the 7 portions is completed, the sun gives the moon its light in 14 portions by 7, all right? So the first portion is a 7. So all the portions are given unto the moon in slithers of 7 until we have a full moon. This is the covenant of the Most High. This is not social engineering. This is what social engineering tells us is done by some angels or done by some aliens, or that these orbs that the Enoch said they are orbs are planets. So in verse 4 it says, in each of its two 7 portions is complete all of its light and rising and in that setting. One started months in change settings. Let's see. On stated months, it changes settings. And on stated months, it makes its progress on each. And 2, the moon sets with the sun. Say in 2 of these, now I want to make sure we clear it, stating that the moon will set with the sun in 2 gates, which are in the midst in the 3rd and 4th gate. It goes forth for 7 days and makes its circuit. So we're going to get into some technical things, and like we said before, we're happy to have the opportunity to go into the technical aspects of how the moon and the sun rises without the lies of NASA and what the higher education has told us. So understanding that all of these things have been this way from the beginning of time. So it is explaining that the sun and the moon will set in 2 of their gates, and that in 15 days they complete their rotation from different gates. But out of that, 2 times they set in the same gates. And it says, again, it returns to the gate whence the sun goes forth, and it completes the whole of its light, and it completes the whole of its light. Then it declines from the sun and enters in 8 days into the 6th gate, from which the sun goes forth. When the sun proceeds to the 4th gate, it goes forth for 7 days, until it passes from the 5th. And again, it returns in 7 days to the 4th gate, and completing all its light declines and passes on by the 1st gate in 8 days. And it says here, and when the sun goes forth from the 4th portal, she goes forth 7 days until she goes forth from the 5th and turns back again in 7 days into the 4th portal and accomplishes all her light. And she recedes and enters into the 1st portal in 8 days. And she returns again in 7 days into the 4th portal, which the sun goes forth. Thus I saw their portions, how the moons arose and the sun set in those days. Verse 10. And if 5 years are added together, the sun has an overplus of 30 days. So now he's telling you, after all of the rotations of the sun and the moon, if you add this in a 5-year span, you will find that there are 30 days left over. All right? There's an overplus of 30 days, and all the days which occurred to it for one of those 5 years, when they are full, amounts to 364 days. So we all know that our calendar, the Gregorian calendar, has 365 days. But in our original Enoch calendar, it's 364 days. And the overplus of the sun and of the stars amounts to 6 days. So that's 36, right? In 5 years, 6 days, every year come to 30 days. Remember, they call it a leap year. And the moon falls behind the sun and stars to the number of 30 days. So the sun and the moon, and the moon falls behind the sun and the stars. So the stars follow the sun because that's where they get their light from 30 days. Verse 12, and the sun, stars, brings in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their positions by a single day unto eternity, but complete the years with perfect justice in 364. So what it explained just now was that the moon, who doesn't always show, right? The moon doesn't always have light. So as we was reading, it spoke about the moon going in different portals. Sometimes they were in the same portal as the sun, and sometimes it went to different portals. The sun, however, in its portal rotation, does not lag, and the stars follow it as they get their power. The moon lags behind because it is the second luminary, and it lags behind by 30 days over a 5-year span. And it says that is what we will call our so-called leap year, right? So now it's saying that the sun, by its rotation, brings in our years exactly to a precise, because it is the covenant that the Most High made with us. This is not something man-made. Verse 12. So that the moon has 30 days less than the sun and stars. The moon brings on all the years exactly. Now see here, it says the sun. In my book, in the Torah, it says the moon, and the sun brings the years exactly so. And it says, verse 12, and the moon has 30 days less than the sun and stars. Verse 13, the moon brings on all the years exactly, and that their saturations may come neither too forward nor too backwards in a single day, but that the years may be changed with correct precision in 364 days. So now you understand about social engineering. Social engineering is the fact that they changed our scriptures over and over again. So on this particular sacred text, they are saying that the sun brings forth all the years exactly. But in my Sefer, it says the moon. That could be a big problem, right? That could be a big problem if you're trying to figure it out. If you don't know any better, right? If you don't understand the rotations of the moon and the stars, you can be following one thing when you should be following another. And your crops can falter. Well, we know as Hebrews, we follow the moon and not the sun. So when you're looking at this text and you're saying, well, how do I know which one is the right text? That goes by understanding who wrote the text and understanding what is the goal of social engineering. The goal of social engineering is for us to be apart from the Most High. We understand that social engineering was brought in by the Greeks and the Romans because it's called the Gregorian calendar. So the Gregorian calendar and the Greeks and the Romans believed in the sun. They were sun god worshippers. They worshiped the sun, along with Egypt and along with the Mayan culture. They worshiped the sun. So we are able to read these two texts and say from our learning, from our research, that we can decipher which one is the proper text. Oh, I'm dropping jewels for y'all tonight. Now I'm dropping jewels. I see my brother Yuan in the building. This is jewels on how you understand and break down social engineering, how you look at scripture and understand when there's a conflict, who is speaking. Because if they put you to the sun, then they are Christians, they are Helios, they are Greek, they are Roman, they are the he-goat, they are the Antichrist. Now, before you're getting all excited, when you understand that the moon is how we do our feast days by the new moons and by the by half moons, new moons, and so forth, right? Yeah, my brother Yuan. So when we follow our feast days due to the moon and the rotations of the moon, then we understand that when we read this Enoch, we are able to know that we are in line with the original text and not with social engineering. All right. So then we go and we say, we drop down to and their saturations may come neither two forwards nor two backwards in a single day, but that the years may be changed with correct precision in 364 days. In 3 years, the days are 1,092. In 5 years, they are 1,820. And in 8 years, 2,912 days. So Enoch now gives us to say, okay, if y'all get all confused with that, if you get to your 5 years or you get to your how many days, you should have this many days. And if you are in line with this many days, then therefore you have followed it correctly. To the moon alone belong in 3 years 1,062 days. So that means that's how many times the moon has light in those days. In 5 years, it has 50 days less for an individual being made to the 62 days. In 5 years, there are 1,770 days, and those days of the moon in 8 years are 2,832 days. For its days is 8 years less 80 days, which 80 days are its diminution in 8 years. So that's how much it decreases in 8 years. When we go to Noah Webster and we look at the definition of diminution, the act of lessening, making smaller, opposed to augmentation as the diminution of size, of wealth, of power, of safety, a state of becoming or appearing less. So it's telling us that the moon is decreasing, right? It says for its days in 80 years are 80 days or less 80 days, which 80 days are its diminution in 80 years. So it doesn't show for 8 days in 80 years. The year then, well, that may not be correct. Hold up. For in its days in 8 years there are less 80 days, right? Which 80 days are in diminution. So of 8 years. So I'm sorry, I transposed that. I said 8 days when it's 80 days were lost in 8 years. So 10 days out of the year, right? So 10 days every year you didn't have light from the moon, right? The year then becomes truly complete according to the saturations of the moon and the stations of the sun, which arise in the gates, which rise and set them 40, 30 days. So it is saying to you that we all know our calendar by the rotations of the sun and how much light, how much saturation of light the moon has. Chapter 75. And it says, these are the leaders of the chiefs of the thousands which are over all creation. Whoa. It said, these are the leaders of the chiefs of the thousands, which are over all creation and over all the stars, with the 4 which are added and never separated from the place allotted them according to the complete calculation of the year. And these serve 4 days, which are not calculated in the calculation of the year. 4 days. Respecting them, men greatly err, for these luminaries truly serve in the dwelling place of the world. 1 day in the first gate, 1 in the third gate, 1 in the fourth gate, and 1 in the 6th gate. So there's 4 that are fixed, that don't move. And men greatly err from this, they say. These are 4 days which are not calculated in a year. So not only is it's 4 days, but it is the luminaries truly serve and they dwell. So they are luminary, These 4 days are luminary days, are days of light. And they stand forth. And one is in the first gate, one is in the third gate, one is in the fourth gate, and one is in the sixth gate. Y'all get that, right? 1, 3, and 4, and 6. 1, 3, and 4, 6. All right. And the harmony of the world becomes complete every 364th state of it. So every time we rotate around, because we're 4 corners, right? We're on 4 pillars, right? Enoch says we are not an orb, that the earth is 4 pillars, is flat. And that we have 4 luminaries that are in the 1 position, the 3 and the 4 position gates, and the 6th gate. And that everything rotates around them for their perfection. And it says, for, verse 4, in like manner, I don't think he's in the same one. 3, for the signs and the times, all right? So, though it's separate 364 stations, so what do they have here? 6th portion, a 6th portal, right? We said gate. The exactness of the years accomplished through these separate 3, through its separate 364 stations. For the signs of the times and the years and the days, the angel Uriel showed to me, whom the Most High of glory has set forever over all the luminaries of the heaven, in the heaven and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the heaven, to be seen on the earth, and to be leaders for the day and the night, i.e., the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the ministering creatures which make their revolutions in all the chariots of the heaven. So that's what he says right there, right? That is different from what I have in my 3, right? It says, respecting them, men greatly err. That's not what they have in here, right? It says, and owing to them, men go wrong therein. So understand that we are going between 2 different verses. My verses 2 and 3 does not add up with what's on your screen. So I am reading from your screen, which is my book, verse 3. Now, verse 4 in my book, which should be on your screen, verse 3, it says, and the harmony of the world becomes complete after 364th day of it. For the signs, the seasons, the years, and the days Uriel showed me, and the angel, you on Most High of glory, appointed over all the luminaries of heaven, and in the world, that they might rule in the face of the sky and appearing over the earth. That's what it says, in the face of the sky. I don't know what they say. Luminaries in heaven. Face of the heavens. They say the heavens on theirs. And it reads, and the sky and appearing over the earth become conductors of the days and nights, the sun, the moon, the stars, all the ministers of the heaven, which make their circuit with all the chariots of heaven. Thus Uriel showed me 12 gates open to the circuit of the chariots of the sun in the heavens, from which the rays of the sun shoot forth. Wow. So now that y'all, I hope y'all are excited about this. Now, I hope this is not boring, you guys, but get this, right? So now we understand how the heavens look, regardless of what they tell you about moons, about aliens and planets and Saturn and rings and Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever he is, actor. Here, we are stating that the moon and the sun rotate around the 4 corners of the earth, where there are pillars that are stationary at the 1 gate of the heavens, the 3 and 4 gate of the heavens and the 6th gate. And that this moon and our sun, they rotate around them through the different gates. They go in and out of those gates that go in the circular motion around our pillars of the earth. And that when we see the stars moving, or shooting stars, those are the angels in chariots running back and forth, making sure that everything runs in alignment. Wow. That's the chariots when we see shooting stars. Verse 10 in my book, and verse 4 on the screen. Thus Uriel showed me 12 gates open for the circuits of the chariots of the sun in heaven, from which the rays of the sun shoots forth. So when we look at a zodiac sign, right, and they give it to you in a circle, and you have all of the zodiac signs, this is where they got it from. Because we are rotating, the sun is rotating around those 12 gates. Those gates in the horoscopes are represented by your sign. I'm a Libra, so I should be in the 10th gate. Get it? Right? If you're going with all of that hocus pocus, then all the things of the 10th gate is where I'm at, right? That's but as we know, our months and the Gregorian months don't line up. So even though we understand Abib, which is April, our Abib in Hebrew starts in March, at the end of March, and goes into the beginning of April, 2 weeks into April. So that's our month of Abib, which is in the middle of 2 months of the Gregorian calendar. So it's hard to say exactly, what, unless you go by your day, but the day that you were born, you can probably try and find your gate in the heavens, and then see if you are 1 gate or a 3 or 4 or a 6 gate that is holding, right, the sun, the light. These would be months of the year that if you were born in, you would be a light bearer, right? That's how we would look at it. You would be a light bearer, right? And yeah, now this is an astronomy class for real. Yeah, like people, we have to understand that when we read these things about these different gates, that we understand that they have recreated all of this and given us these lies. So all we have to do is look at their lie, look at the 12 that is here. Everything in our society is based off of 12 months of the year, 12 zodiac signs, 12 gates in the heavens, 12 tribes of Yasharala. Is 12 a number that is just arbitrary? Let's take a look. I got something I pulled up for you guys. So when we look at the number 12 biblically, right? So this is a site called graceintorah.net, graceintorah.net, and it's going to break down to us what the number 12, the symbolism of the number 12 is for us. It is Shatayim, or yeah. So 12 in Hebrew is Shatayim, 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 a perfect government. So 12 in Hebrew is representation of a perfect government. It's order, organization, united perfect subdivisions of time. 12 hours in a day, 12 months in a year, 12 primary constellations, and the people, 12 tribes of Yasharala, 12 disciples. This demonstrates a holy people serving a holy. Remember what I said that they're doing in the heavens, right? All of the angels, all luminaries are saying, holy, holy, holy. I see you in the building, Big Chief Walter Cook, Creole Wild West, legendary in the building. So you see, 12, it says 12 Hebrew letter. The letter 12 in Hebrew is also Lamed, right? So you have Shetayim, and then you have Lamed, right? Which is in the Paleo Hebrew. And it says numerical value, Lamed, letter Lamed, numerical value of 30. In our pictograph, which is the first language before Paleo Hebrew, meaning shepherd's hook, staff, teaching, learning, goading, protection, yoke. All right, let me break down what this means. That Lamed, right? So, as us as an ancient people, before we wrote down words, we had pictures as our language to communicate things. In our thing, let me pull it up. Let me not play with y'all tonight because we getting in deep. Paleo Hebrew Aleph PH Alphabet chart. All right, so limit, right, is the word. Where is that? Lam, right? So right here, you'll see lam, right? So this is the original pictograph, right? And it said hook, right? Shepherd's hook. That's the shepherd's hook, and then it turned into a hook in the Middle Ages. Then late, it turned into a staff, right? So then that became lamb. So it's a shepherd's staff, and it means to teach, the yoke. And now we went through a whole lesson on yoke and us being in the Most High's yoke, right? Meaning that He has formed us. Yoke means of forming. So He has formed us, right? So this is what 12 means, that we are in the formation of the Most High in His celestial order. That we as Lemit, which is the number 12, means that, and we are teaching. We are in the mode of the Most High, and we are to bind, to bring everyone together. This is the binding of the 12 tribes. It is the completion, right? So that comes to Lamed right there, which is the modern Hebrew, right? That's what it looks like in modern day. But it was just Lam for us, which was shepherd and staff, and then it became the El. Then it became the when the Khazarians came in and they brought in their Yiddish and added it to our Hebrew, and now you have Lamed, right? So here it's saying to us that 12, well, let me get back to my 12. So 12, going back to the Paleo Hebrew sign limit, right? And it also tells us 12 foundations in the heavenly Jerusalem, 12 gates, 12 pearls. At the age of 12, Yasha first appears in public and engaged with the teachers in Jerusalem. Luke chapter 2, verse 42. He was at his bar mitzvah age. Is when a boy becomes a man in Hebrew, right? When in Luke 8, a woman that had an issue of blood for 12 years touches Yasha fringes, and she is healed. This occurred while he was on his way to heal a 12-year-old girl. Then they get into a little gematria when they do 2 plus 10 equals 12. If we look at the ideal for numbers 2 and 10, then we can see that 12 is about a united and perfected congregation, right? So we look at the number 2. So let's look at the number 2. Oh, that's 11 to 30, so I have to go back to 2. But and I'll look at the 10 for you guys. We'll go back to 10, to 2 and 10 after. That's 11, 12. So 2 is about being united, and a perfect congregation is 10. 3 and 4 is 12. And again, you look at the 3 being with the Holy Spirit, and 4 produces the resurrection of life that is powered by the divine government. 2 and 6, if we give a number to 2 and 6, 12 will ideally picture a unified relationship. 2 that is serving in the image of Elohim. 6, the beast is being ruled by the 2 in one, in one flesh of restored Adam mankind. Say that again. 2 that is serving in the image of Elohim, which is 6. And what we said, the gates, what were the gates? 1, 3, and 4, and 6 was the gate, right? The beast is being ruled by 2 in one flesh. The beast is being ruled by 2 in one flesh. And 2 being a perfect union of being united. You have good and evil in you. You have the spirit of the Most High, and you have the iniquity of your flesh. When we are breaking down these numbers and understanding that everything the Most High does, He did on a tapestry, levels. It's all intricate and all together so that you can find your way back through the breadcrumbs, back to the gingerbread house. All right? That's 12. So when we're looking at this scripture, and we're seeing that 12 is the gates. It's not by accident that 12 is by the gate. So Uriel showed me in confirmation the sun's chariots. The sun's chariots in heavens. Let me read from mine. And it says, I'm in verse 12 gates. I beheld the heavens, extremities of the earth. And heaven proceed, rising. It says, okay, verse 12 for me, which I'm not sure which one it is. For you guys, 12 gates I beheld in heaven, at the extremities of the earth, which the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven proceed at their rising and setting. So, in these 12 chambers that we look at a zodiac sign, all the stars, the moon, and the sun, they all rest and go to rest in these 12 chambers. Many windows also are open on the right and on the left. One window at a season grows extremely hot. So also are the gates from which the stars go forth as they are commanded, and in which they set according to their numbers. I saw likewise the chariots of heaven running in the world above to those gates in which the stars turn, which never set. One of these is greater than all, which goes around the whole world. I'll read that again. 15. I saw likewise the chariots of heaven. The man says there's one chariot in heaven that's bigger than them all, that goes around the whole world. 4 ones of spirit. So this here says, Revolution, I'm trying to get y'all back. On the face of the heavens, see on the earth, the sun, the moon, and stars ministering to creatures and revolutions of the chariots of heaven. Like manner, 12 doors Uriel showed me unto the circumference of the sun's chariots in the heavens, through which the rays of the sun break forth. And from them is warmth is fused over the earth when they are open at their appointed seasons. Now, again, we understand that this book, I see in the building, Paparazzi Rob. Yes. Now, again, what you have on your screen is the people that believe in the sun. Ours here tells us that there are 12 gates, that there are the gates which the stars turn. It does not give us windows, right? As it says here, the sun breaks forth its rays in those 12 windows. The 12 doors showed me open the circumference of the sun's chariot in the heavens, through which the rays of the sun break forth. That is not what it says in my book. My book says Many windows are also open unto the right and to the left. One window at a season grows, it says, one window at a season grows extremely hot. Also are the gates from which the stars go forth as they are commanded. So it said one window heated up. And it said that the gates that the stars are in are heated by the stars. But this says, no, the sun is doing it all. All right? And it says, warmth is diffused over the earth when they are open at their appointed seasons. And for the winds of the spirit of the dew, when they are open, standing open in the heavens at the end, as for the 12 portals in the heaven at the ends of the earth, out of which goes forth the sun, moon, stars, and all. I'll read mine. On all the works of the heaven in the east and in the west. There are many windows open to the left and to the right of them, and one window at the appointed season produces warmth, corresponding. See, now that's a contradiction. In A7, they said that 12, that the sun did it, that he heated up all 12 windows. Now it's saying many windows open, which I have in my scripture, that many windows are open, and that's what we just read, and produces warmth and corresponding at the corresponding to those doors from which the stars come forth. You see how they added in there? They didn't even need to put all of that in there when they already have the same thing that's in my book down here in verse 7. So that lets you know again how they are social engineering your scriptures. And it says, and I saw chariots in heaven running in the world above those portals in which revolve the stars that never set, and one is larger than all the rest, and it is that makes the course through the entire world. Let's go to 76. Then we get to the rest of our scripts. And it says, and at the ends, it says, and at the end, and at the extremities of the earth, I beheld 12 gates open for all the winds, from which they proceed and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open in the front of heaven, 3 in the west, 3 on the right side of heaven, and 3 on the left. The first 3 are those which are towards the east. Now, we just went through the 12 gates of the heavens with the stars and the moon. Now we're dealing with 12 gates that are dealing with the winds, that are for all the winds. And towards the north, 3 behind those which are open, which are upon the left, towards the south, and 3 on the west. From 4 of them proceed winds of blessings and health, and from 8 proceed winds of punishment, when they are sent to destroy the earth and the heaven above it. Not just the earth, and the heaven above it. This one says it's hurtful winds. Though 4 of these come winds of blessing and prosperity, and from those 8 come hurtful winds. When they are sent, they bring destruction on all the earth and on the water upon it, and all who dwell thereon, and on everything which is in the water and the land. All right, so, and then I read, from the 4 reeds proceeding the winds of blessing, right? I'm sorry. And all the inhabitants, and all which are in the waters or on dry land. Verse 4 for you to be verse 7 on your screen. The first of these winds proceed. No, I'm sorry. Right, it's verse 5 for you. It's verse 4 for me, verse 5 for you. Proceed from the gate termed the eastern, though the first gate on the east, which inclines southward, from this goes forth destruction, drought, heat, and prediction. From the second gate, The middle one proceeds equity. Their issue from, which is equity. Their issue from it reign, fruitfulness, health, and dew. And from the third gate northwards proceeds cold and drought. Verse 6 for me, verse 7 for you. And these proceed the south winds through three principal gates. Through their first gate, which inclines eastward, proceeds a hot wind. But from the middle gate proceeds grateful odor, dew, rain, health, and life. From the third gate, which is westward, proceeds dew, rain, blight, and destruction. Verse 9 for me. And these are the winds to the north, which is called the sea. From three gates, the seventh gate is on the east. So I'm going to read that 9 again. From these are the winds to the north, which are called the sea, from three gates. So three gates are the winds for the sea. The seventh gate is on the east, inclining southward. From this proceeds dew, blight, and destruction. From the middle direct gate proceeds rain, dew, life, and health. So one out of them is good. From the third gate, which is westward inclining towards the south, proceeds mist, snow, rain, dew, and blight. Verse 10 for me. Blight is destruction from them, so I believe that's 14 for you guys. After these four are the winds of the west. From the first gate, inclining northward, proceeds dew, rain, frost, cold, snow, and chill. From the middle gate proceeds rain, health, and blessings. And from the last gate, which is southward, proceeds drought, destruction, scorching, and perdition. The account of the 12 gates of the 4 quarters of heaven is ended. So 4 quarters of heaven, 12 gates, so they're broken into quarters. All their laws, all their punishments, and all the health of them have I explained to you, my son Methuselah. So as we're looking at Enoch explaining these the goings and comings of the stars and the moon and the winds, and how the sun and the moon work in conjunction for our circadian rhythms, for our 12 hours of sleep, 12 hours of sunlight. Well, the day being split in 24, you having a certain amount of sun and a certain amount of moon every day, and then working together to bring you that equal to bring you that what's the word I'm looking for, guys? I have me going on the brain fart. It brings forth his covenant that everything works in his order. So we've just gone through that, and when we go through that, we understand that 12, what we got out of it majorly was that 12 is a number of the Most High. That 12 shows up throughout our scripture in different ways. It shows up as the perfect government, right? So when we're looking at, well, I'm going to go to take you guys. So, so many tabs open, guys. Forgive me. So when we look at the, climate science news, and Bill Gates wants to block the sun. He wants to launch balloon experiment in Sweden that hits a snag. Environmental groups express criticism, but we understand that this is what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to create a layer in between the sun and the earth. This process is blocking the sun's rays. They'll give you that they're just trying to help with global warming, meaning that they want to block the sun so it doesn't warm the earth. But then they use a lot of fancy words to try and say that, no, we're not blocking the sun. We're just putting out some emissions so that we can help better understand or better protect the earth. It means you're blocking the sun. It means that you're blocking the Most High in his order, as we just read in Enoch. And social engineering will tell you that he is only trying to help us. Social engineering will tell you that the vaccines he created is only to help us. We're going to go to Revelations chapter 7. Now it says, after these things, I saw four angels standing on four corners of the earth, holding four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor any tree. Now, when we read Revelations after reading Enoch, and we understand what these angels are doing, because we read in Enoch that these are portals, that there are chariots, that Uriel or Uzziel, Uriel, let's say Uriel, is the captain over the conductors that make sure all these things go in the motion or in the order that they're supposed to. So now when we understand Revelations and people talk about, when you have the vision of the angel coming out of the sky, you should not get that Hollywood image in your mind. You should understand that the heavenly bodies are doing their job, and if they are told to hold back the four corners of that, they're on the angels stand on the four corners, and we understand we're talking about the 1 position, the 3, 4 position, and the 6 position of the gates. These are the ones that never move. And it's saying they're holding the winds back, that they should not blow on the earth or the sea. And we understand there's 4 for the sea, and right. So we just read this, and it says, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Most High. So that would be the seal of Yasha, the one that came from Judah, the one that died for our sins, that came from the seed of Jesse. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the 7th of our Most High in their foreheads, the servants of the Most High in their foreheads. Whoa, okay. So we, in Enoch, understanding that the angels control all that is around us, we now see that in Revelations, this is the story of when the Most High is coming, or Yasha, his son, is coming down, and the Most High both are coming down to bring vengeance, and that it's going to be used, that Yasha is going to be used as the sword for the Most High to do his bidding, and that he's telling the angels to hold back the winds and all these things that have been created to destroy the earth at the end of the Gentile rule to bring forth the new kingdom. That Yasha brings, the angel comes with the seal that says to the angels that when you release these winds to destroy things, do not do it until we have sealed the foreheads of the servants. Now, we're about to get into the 144 Many people have they have different stories at 144. We have the gates that allow the tribes of Yasharala to enter, where they're going to give us 6,000 and 12,000, right, to enter in. And then there's the 144 that's going to be doing his bidding. All of it goes back to the number 12. All of it goes back to the Most High's math. And it says, verse 4, and I heard the number of them were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Yasharala. So out of the 144, even though Gentiles can have salvation, they will not be part of the 144 that will have the seal on their head. Of the tribe of Yehuda were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad, were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Ashur were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. And of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon, 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. So how many was that, guys? Let's count so far. We have Judah, Reuben, Gad, that's 3. We have Ashur, Naphtali, Manasseh, that's 6. We have Simeon, Levi, and Issachar, that's 9. Then we have Zebulon, Joseph, and Benjamin. Zebulon was sealed with 12,000, and the tribe of Joseph was sealed with 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000. Let's continue. And it says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and psalms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our Yahshua, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our Most High, who sitteth on the throne, and unto the Lamb, which is Yahshua. And all the angels stood around about the throne, and about the elders and 4 beasts, and fell before the throne of their faces, and worshipped the Most High, saying, Amen. Glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto the Most High forever and ever. Amen. And one of those elders answered, saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence they come? Now this is the important part to understand, because this is part of social engineering. The people in Jerusalem are saying that they are the chosen people and only they can make it. As a matter of fact, only their tribes. But them, they say they ain't even looking for the 10 tribes that are lost, that are not following the law. That they are the ones, as they are saying they're Judah, right? They're saying that they are the ones and that they are the only chosen ones. But here it is telling us 24,000, right? You read what you got there, Aaron. What did you mean to put 24,000? Explain that right quick, because you're going to be interesting, right? And they said unto them, Sir, thou knowest? And he said to me, these are they which came out of the great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. We just went over this with the blood of the Lamb, right? We just went over this with the forgiveness on Shabbat night. That forgiveness is for those that are going to be tried by this world, that they are full of blood, they're full of iniquity, but their righteousness, the thing that wipes away the blood that's been on their hands, praying to false gods, following the ideology of the United States, following the lies of the world, following the social engineering. The people that are making it through the Jacob's trouble, the tribulations, the great tribulations, these are the people that's going to wipe themselves clean by understanding the law and bringing themselves to the law and getting all of the iniquity off of them as they are following the law. And you are becoming white. Your robe becomes white. Therefore are they before the throne of the Most High, and serve him day and night in his temple, and they and he sitteth on the throne, shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sunlight on them, nor any heat. So after this happens, we won't worry about the chambers of the sun. We won't be worrying about the winds. We're going to be in paradise. Let's go to Revelations. Let's go to Ezekiel, right? Because this is what gets people mixed. Ezekiel 48. See, Ezekiel 48 gives, I know y'all didn't like the way I spelled Ezekiel. Easy. How about that? 48. How about that? So we go to Ezekiel 48. It gives us some different things right here, right? You still got that, Aaron? I said 24,000. It was 12 tribes with 12,000 each tribe with the seal. We just counted right. There we go. Now let's look at this 12, right? It's 144. And it says, now these are the names of the tribes from the north end of the coast of the way of Hethlon, as one goeth to Hamath Hazanan, the border of Damascus northward to the coast of Hamath, and these are his sides east and west, a portion for Dan. Now, this land division that you have in 48, many people get confused and say, well, who is this for? Because we first got our land that was promised, right, through Joshua, right? Joshua gave us our lands. And in Joshua, we actually took over the Canaanites, Jericho, remember? And we got our promised land. Then we got brought into exile into Babylon, right? Then we built the second temple. This is talking about the portions of the second temple and how the land was supposed to be divided for the second temple. I'm going to drop down to 11 because it says, I'm going to go to 10. And it says, and for them, even the priest shall be this holy oblation, toward the north 520,000 in length, and toward the west 10,000 in breadth, and toward the east 10,000 in breadth, and toward the south 25,000 in length, and the sanctuary of the Most High shall be in the midst thereof. Now I may go. All right, so I'm gonna read this 8 because it's very interesting. And by the border of Judah, from the east side unto the west side, shall be an offering which shall offer of 25,000 reeds in breadth, and the length as one of the other parts from the east side unto the west, and the sanctuary shall be in the midst of it. The oblation will suffer after. Maybe that's not the part I was talking about. Hold on. The city gates in 30, that's what it does. Well, right here, I'm having you guys in 11 as it's breaking down the different gates for every one, and it's breaking down the tribes. and the Levite tribes and all that will be given in the second temple. When they rose the second temple, how the land was supposed to be given. But a lot of us did not come back and rebuild on that second temple. The reason I read that is because even in the plans that the Most High had for the second temple, he etched out a section for Gentiles and for the ones that were about iniquity. And that was in the city gates when it says, and these are the goings of the city on the north side, and 1,000, and gates shall be after the names. And there's always gates and northern gates. And so we as the tribes were given gates around the holy city that matched what was the gates in the heavens that rotated around the Most High and the sun. And it said these 503 gates, and one gate of Joseph, one gate of Benjamin, one gate of Dan. When we go to 11, it says, it shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, which went not astray when the children of Yasharallah went astray as the Levites went astray. After the temple was sacked and the Levites were kicked out, even though they have a gate, right? Even though the Levites still have a gate into the heavens, they were kicked out by the Most High. Zadok was the priest, were of the sons of Aaron. They were descendants of the sons of Aaron, and they still kept the temple going. When the Levites left and didn't come back, the Zadok came back. When the Levites did wrong, the Zadok stayed with the Most High. And that's what we have to be in this hour. We have to be like the Zadoks. And I want everybody to do their own little research on the Zadoks, right? Because the Most High says these are the ones that's going to be serving him in the temple. As we're about to read in Revelations 14 about the 144 that's going to be brought up, understand that those 144 are going to be soldiers. They're going to be a priestlyhood that's going to be serving out of us, and those are going to be the ones from Zadok. Well, I see the building, Big Chief Carl in the building. So you'll see that Zadoks, right? Those are the ones that's going to be serving the Most High because the Levites fell, which is our Haitians, you dig? It is what it is. So let's go to our Revelations 14. Because we are, right now, what we're doing is, we just came from Enoch, where Enoch explained that there's no such thing as planets, no such things as aliens. All that is fallen angels, all that is demonic. We just went through Dane Calloway that showed us social engineering, that America has been lying to us through the media, through our textbooks, through all of our history. We are seeing that in the book of Enoch, the Most High is stating exactly what is above us in the heavens and the skies, what portals, how the sun moves, how the sun rotates, how the moon rotates, how the stars rotate. And he has now shown us that us on the earth, we are a facsimile, or we are a reflection of the heavens. That we as the 12 tribes of his chosen seed, the seed of Jacob, those 12 tribes represent those 12 gates or the 12 portals in the heavens. And that in Revelations it says, the Lamb and the 144 on Mount Zion. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. So they said, what is going to be written in our foreheads? What's going to be stamped in our foreheads? It is not the name Jesus. It is not the name Jesus. It says the Father's name is written in their foreheads. Revelations 14:1. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as of the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sang as it were a new song before the throne. and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144 and 4,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So there will be a remnant, there will be a small group of us, I would like to believe, but it won't. It's going to be a small group. It won't be me. It's going to be a small group. And the next line is going to tell you why it's not me. It's not maybe not you. But it could be Rick, though. It could be Ricky. Yes, it could. It could be Isaiah. It could be Jordan. It can be Logan. Not us, though. The Most High is going to take a small group and he's going to bring them to the skies and put the name of his Father on their forehead so that they can be redeemed from the earth. And it says, these are which were not defiled with woman. Oh well, throws us out the mix. Say, for they are virgins. They are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being their first fruits unto the Most High and unto the Lamb. In their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. So the Most High is saying that out of each tribe, there is going to be 12,000 children that's going to be raised up that are virgins, or maybe some men that are not, that are virgins, that have not had any evil come out of their mouth. They're going to be the ones that's going to be raised up in that hour that he comes down to bring his kingdom, his government onto this earth, his perfect government, his perfect kingdom. And he's going to make it reflect what is up there by taking angels of the earth, because he's got angels up there watching all of the 12 portals. So he's going to take out of our 12 tribes, 12,000 of each. 12 times 12 is 144. Take out of those tribes and have them have the blood rise as high as the horse's bridle. There's a number, there's a system, there's an order that the Most High has put forth. We can ignore it. We can choose not to seek it. We can say that it doesn't connect. We can say that some people are just making it real hard to make these connections. The Most High is telling us clearly that only a remnant is going to make it. And whether it be a part of that 12 tribe or it be a part of the ones that are in the city, that are on the outskirts of the gates, the Gentiles that have also gone through the trials and tribulations and chose righteousness in the midst of trials and tribulations, in the midst of famine, in the midst of attacks, in the midst of violence, in the midst of whatever. They have chosen to do the right thing. Let's go to our Psalms, and we're going out of here tonight, guys. We go to our Psalms 144. That's right. We're going to go with Psalms 144. We had to kick it all in for our soldiers tonight. I see you still in the building, say like B. I love the way you stay in the building. I think Alana switched over to our Black Mask Canola. Oh, appreciate it. Yes, yes. So, and it says 144, a Psalm of David. Blessed be the Most High, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Remember, the 144 isn't getting raised up to hug nobody. The 144, the righteous, we are washing our robes, our iniquity off of us, so that we have the right to kill evil, so that we have the right to watch evil fall to the wayside, so that we have the right to be able to walk in the midst of the Most High and be like his stars, his moon, his sons, his angel, to give him to say, holy, holy, holy are you, Father. We give you praise. It says, my goodness and my fortress, my high tower, my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I trust, who subdueth my people under me. The Most High, what is a man that thou takest knowledge of him, or the Son of Man that thou makest account of him? Most High, he says, Most High, what is a man that you take knowledge of us? It says, what is the Son or the Son of Man that thou makest account of him? Man is like vanity. His days are as a shadow that passeth away. Vain, meaning that we care only about how good we look, what we can achieve, where we are in the social order of life. By thy heavens, O Most High, and come down, says, bow thou heavens, O Most High, and come down, touch the mountain, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning, and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows, and destroy them. Send thine hand from above. Rid me and deliver me out of the great waters, from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Social engineering. David was talking about it way back then. You don't think that they perfected their lies now? You don't think they perfected their way to lie to the masses and get them to do as they want? I will sing a new song unto thee, O Most High, upon a psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings will I sing praise unto thee. It is he that giveth salvation unto kings, who delivereth David his servant from the hurtful sword. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and right hand is the hand of falsehood, that our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones, polished in beauty, after the similitude of a palace. That's what we're praying for on this night, to see through the lies, to be raised up as a soldier, whether you're a woman or man, child or boy, child or elder, to be raised up so that our women can be polished like cornerstones, beautiful, and our children will be planted. They will be sturdy as an oak tree in the Most High, that our garners may be full of affording all manner of store. So it says, this is the prosperity part. And it says, and give it to us where we have all sorts, that we can afford all manners of our store, that our sheep may bring forth thousands and 10,000s of streets in our streets. Bring forth, I'm saying that bring forth 10 and 10,000 in our streets, that our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no breaking in, no going out, that there be no complaining in our streets. No complaining, only prosperity. Happy is that people that is such a case. Yea, happy is that people whose Most High is their strength and salvation. That's our lesson for tonight. Social engineering, geoengineering versus the Most High's engineering. They engineer lies. They engineer foods that does not sustain the body, that does not coincide with the osmosis, or not the osmosis, but the photosynthesis of the vitamins from the sun that the Most High has created, that goes into our plants that we eat, builds us and strengthens us mentally and physically. They want to block out the sun. They want to block out the covenant. They want to give you social engineered lies that it is to help the environment, when in fact they were the ones that destroyed it in the beginning. And all you have to do to let the environment get back to the way it was is to let it rest, to give it its Shabbat. as Leviticus says, that we were supposed to give the earth, anytime we're planting in the earth, the 7th year, we should let it rest. This beast system has not let our earth rest. It has poked holes through the ozone layer. It has done everything to destroy this paradise that the Most High has created for us. So yes, they are now trying to scramble and figure out what they can do. Just like they're scrambling to never die. They're scrambling to be immortal, to put their conscience on computer chips so that their brains and their memories can run algorithms and computers after their death so they can somehow think that they are still alive, cheating death and denying the Most High's truth. This is the reality of the world that we live in. It's your choice whether you want to continue to be a part of a vain society and only think that things that are important are vain things, or getting back to the Most High, getting back to His law so you are no longer a lost tribe, that you have a law, you have a creator, and you, like the ass and like the ox, know their own. Get to know your own. Love your creator. He is not the oppressor in the government that we're in. And we are not to have Stockholm Syndrome. Give all praise unto the Most High. We will see you guys. Yes, repent, and it is relevant. I pray that, as it's saying, we're relevant. Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad that y'all understood this, how they lied to us. What's the propaganda? What's the spin? It's called social engineering. And engineering means that they're creating something in order to bring it somewhere. And what they're bringing us to is an artificial life with no photosynthesis, no real vitamins, and no nutrients in our foods, no sun, and a new world order where we're on Bitcoin, where we are augmented human beings, half human, half AI, where we are redefining what sexuality is, what is a man and what is a woman, through the new gender laws of the LGBTQ, which our government is bringing in. Understand, this is bigger than your neighborhood. This is bigger than the beefs of being black and just regular racism. This is evil on a level that you may not fully understand. But if you want salvation in this hour, if you want to not fall prey to their sword, to their lies, to their food shortages, then get to know the Most High personally. Seek His face personally, and He will direct you in all your ways if you acknowledge Him in all He does in your life. With that, we give all praise and honor and glory unto the Most High. Me shalom.